Welcome in, everyone. Ryan Ripken Show, episode 61. We're doing this on Wednesday because, unfortunately, travel plans change everything with the Ryan Ripken Show. But before I introduce who's in studio with us today, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight. Well, first off, we're going to go around talking about what's spicy. And yes, I know it's really spicy what's going on with the Orioles and the Pirates playing their spring training game. I know a lot of people are excited about that. But there's a lot of news around the NFL, and everyone thought that the Ravens were the ones that their window was closing, but there's another team out there that might be in a worse situation. Obviously, we will go around Maryland and down to spring training as we continue to cover the Baltimore Orioles and other news. And by the way, also for other ones of our Maryland fans, the franchise franchise tag deadline passed. We're going to touch on that just for a hair and what it means. But yeah, welcome in. And just with all that, now let's talk about who is in studio with us tonight on this beautiful Wednesday night. From right to left, we'll start with Zach. New Jersey.
Yeah, I had to, after the hate on the Giant Manziel jersey, I'm just breaking out each jersey now.
Do you have a Ravens jersey you can wear?
Yeah, I have a lot, but I went through years of if you performed well on my fantasy team and we made it to the championship,
Okay.
like there's the jersey.
I actually cheated in fantasy football.
You cheated?
What?
Yeah.
What?
I paid people for their players and then got kicked out of my actual league. And then the next year I was actually
Holy
commissioner.
This kid.
I'll give you hi, I'm Brad, by the way.
I'm
Yeah.
Kevin.
By the way, welcome back. Welcome back, Brad Smith and Kevin Oyster Striker. Continue,
There he
Brad.
is.
And actually, before I lied, Rocco is somewhere back here. Maybe we should say that he's available somewhere in the back.
Who booed him? Who just
Oh,
booed him?
should we boo that man?
Boo that man.
Where is he?
Rocco.
Oh, hey,
Jr.
Rock.
What's up, guys? Like Kevin cheating in fantasy football. Wouldn't expect anything less from a guy who loves throwing.
Can you fist bump me for it? Can you fist bump me
Yeah.
for it?
Narc,
Yeah.
narc. What's up, guys?
All right, Brad, go ahead now.
Yeah, so it was last year. Raheed Shaheed, like, I don't know, got dumped into on the ESPN app. He got dumped into being able to actually be picked up during the game. It was like a Thursday night game. And it was like a night game that he ended up like running for 50 yards.
Mhm.
So I was able to swap him out with somebody that I knew wasn't going to be anywhere near good enough. And then I got reprimanded for that
Good.
because I capitalized on an ESPN glitch and I got the reprimand. I had to the next week I had to play with an empty slot. That was the punishment.
Well, okay. So did you know that it was
Yeah,
wrong?
I did. Yeah, I took advantage. Look, I pulled a Bill Belichick. I took advantage of a glitch in the system.
See, you know what? For me, I'm a man of integrity. I'm not trying to cut the corners here, but I understand. I get it. I'm the commissioner of my league at home with my friends. This league going all the way back, and if I did something like that, I would never hear the end of it forever. Because just like you guys roast me on a consistent daily basis for all the shit, imagine guys that have known me since I was little Rye.
Yeah,
but I don't blame you. Just not.
it was a huge debate. Everybody voted on it, and of course, when you take it to a vote and somebody gets their asses kicked, because of something that I did, then they voted for me to get punished. I will say the next week with an empty slot, I whooped the next guy's ass, and it was the guy who was the loudest about
Well, that's satisfying.
Yeah.
The best part about fantasy football is, I think, the arguments, though. Like, because
100%.
it gets people going. Like, friend groups, people take it way too seriously, and that's why I love it. That's what makes fantasy football so incredible.
Well,
I will have like friendships on the brink of being ended because I lost by like 0.2.
So we're saying is we should have a fantasy league for
Without
next
it.
year.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
or shouldn't if we want to have our friendships lost. So maybe for Rocco's case.
Apparently, we shouldn't have Kevin. That's
I'm past the that
he's
was
past his cheating
yeah.
phase.
See,
guys.
that
He's
was
changed.
I was getting like prime like Broncos, Peyton Manning, Larry Fitzgerald, Rob Gronkowski for like I don't know, like Matt Barkley or
Damn.
something. Like it was still of a deal for the guy who was getting Barkley. By the way, I'll
That's
stand
incredible.
by that.
Yeah, well, we can't wait. I know, hey, Rocco and I had a lot of good conversations. Rocco and I, by the way, won our fantasy leagues. Shout out us.
I won 3 of my 5 Locked On Ravens leagues this year.
Okay, Kevin, all of your comments about fantasy football is out the window.
Yeah.
After you just said you blatantly cheated on the
Well,
Ryan
that was
Ripken show.
high school. That was high school. But I own it. I own my mistakes.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
Good,
you're
you know what? Good for you.
Thank you.
good
Thank
for you. Hey, Rock, why don't we since we're spicy here right now, and we're gonna start off just giving an update on the Orioles game. Tony Taters launched off. Orioles are ahead early.
Little 2-run bombski. That game is not on TV. Pittsburgh market in the Baltimore market, so you're just gonna have to kind of live vicariously through the beat reporters down there right now. I don't make the rules. That's how it is right now.
Is Pittsburgh obsessed with fish sandwiches? It's that because
What?
I've obviously been watching, I guess, 2 games now at this point, like spring training games off of Pittsburgh's broadcast. And I swear the number of fish sandwich commercials where they're like competing for like the best fish sandwich in town. And I'm like, is this a thing? Like, so I don't know. If you're from Pittsburgh, do you guys like love fish sandwiches? Seems like a thing.
Well, you know what? Whether you love fish sandwiches or not, it's irrelevant because we have Jason Benowitz down there reporting live from Ed Smith Stadium.
Hey.
There we go. Actually, Jason just tweeted out a video of Gunners got a little base knock. So
Can we pull up Jason's clip? We'll take Jason's clip. Shout out Baltimore Battery, by the way.
We're gonna
if we
steal
can
your
do
shit.
that.
I have a bone to pick with Jason right now.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Uh-oh.
Actually,
Yeah.
I said that he was dead to me in our private chat. By the way,
Oh, well,
for what?
all right.
because he tagged everybody in the show about reliable sources for Orioles content, except for your boy. Except for your boy.
Well, Brad, maybe that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck off, Rocco.
Oh, this is great. But we're gonna pull up some clips from that. Obviously, we'll talk about a lot of what's going on with the Orioles. That's a huge part of the episode coming up later. So appreciate you guys all tuning in. We have a lot tuning in actually right now on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. We are live on YouTube. And also we want to push this out more. 2 things. Number 1, if you can't listen to us watch us, we'd love for you to watch because we have a lot more of the visuals. But if you can't, we are on the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. Now there's some other ones that are popping up. Check us out. Don't watch and drive, but you can listen to us in the car. And secondly, we have the Discord. We're trying to put it together even more. And actually, I think we're going to get a little bit more explicit in the Discord here. And maybe that's where Rip After Dark initially starts.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
So we will see what happens there. All right. Are we ready? Oh, wow. Jason said, are we doing this now?
Squaring up on the stream.
Well,
Come at me, bruh.
This is all right. Actually, real quick though, here is the Gunnar Henderson. Good stuff. Good stuff, Jason. Thank you.
And by the way, for Jason, he's going to be almost like a correspondent here for us. But for him and the Baltimore Battery, there's so many more things that are upcoming for the season, and everyone loves the Orioles, especially in the region that we're in. So a lot to cover there. Okay, let's go into spicy topics real quick. Go around the NFL, and then we'll dive right back in to spring training and the Orioles and everything that's happening. We just dropped in the chat on YouTube the Discord link. So please hop on and hop on in and let us know what you guys want to talk about. But okay, here we go. Guys, I heard for a while that when you sign a franchise quarterback, then the window's going to close and, can you win? Is it going to happen? And I felt like everyone was kind of talking about, this wasn't around like Lamar Jackson that, the window's going to close sooner or later. But I think everyone forgot to mention that this window for the Buffalo Bills almost seems like it's cement shut, given what has been going on. And today, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, and I'll start with you. The cuts here of some really, really important players, specifically Jordan Poyer, and then Tre'Davious White, who's been injured. But these are massive signing or massive releases for a team that still, if I'm not mistaken, is not under the cap yet.
No, they're not. So the Buffalo Bills, as you see on the screen for those watching, Adam Schefter reports that. So the Bills entered today $40 million over the cap, had to release guys like Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse, who's a very good center. He's going to have a lot of suitors. Deontay Hardy is he all pro? I'm not sure if he's all pro.
Local guy.
Oh, that is right. Also local guy, return specialist, stud. But then they had to release Tre'Davious White. His actually doesn't open up until after June 1st because of the designation. And then since this tweet was put out, they had to restructure Von Miller's deal, which is kind of what has led to this whole sticky situation. Was the 6-year, $120 million he got has really put a damper on that cap situation there, to say the least.
Yeah, so this is not the situation you want to be in if you're the Buffalo Bills, right? And I think right now there's a lot of question marks. And I love the Bills team, right? And Rock, maybe you can feel like this is great, but hasn't this conversation always been kind of not saying it's defending Josh Allen and the Bills, but this is a problem, and the Bills really haven't gotten over any hump. They have been to the AFC Championship game now, it was 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And now they have so many more question marks about what they're going to do moving forward. And quite frankly, that AFC East, hypothetically, if you're looking at the Dolphins and the Jets and the Patriots have to get better, that division's going to get harder as they move forward.
Yeah, I think, Rip, we're going to get a better idea of what the Bills look like under the cap and who they add, who they bring in, and who they draft in the offseason. And then we'll be able to kind of look at that big picture more and say, okay, Buffalo is going to absolutely suck this year, or okay, maybe they can contend and compete in the AFC with the team they still do have on the roster. But to me, I was just watching the notifications and it was one after the other after the other. I can't even imagine being a Bills fan. Like, imagine if that happened with the Ravens right now, and if you saw some big significant names just get released because you were so much over the cap that you had to get rid of people. It would be insane. I mean, I've seen Ravens flock through the good times and the bad, and the panic meter and the happy meter. So you can just imagine how they would react to this. Zach especially. He would.
Ravens fans overreacting?
No.
Never happened.
Well,
Never
especially
happened.
not on Twitter. I only see people use the most common sense.
And you never would overreact on Twitter, Zach, specifically.
Especially not.
Never.
No, not at all.
But this, to my point, though, this would be something to kind of overreact to. You would be justified if you were overreacting to this as a Ravens fan if this happened in Baltimore right now, because what's going on in Buffalo, it's like, what is happening? It's crazy. But it needs to be done clearly because they need to get under the salary cap.
Yeah, they certainly do. And that's something that that's talked about. That's just the way it is. But when you're looking at this, right, the Bills still have a lot of talent. But Kevin, there's like the other question mark of it was, Stephon Diggs, the situation. They could save money there, but if you get rid of a guy like Stephon Diggs, what the hell do you have on offense there? Yeah. Because because Gabe Davis, correct, is also up for a contract. He's a free agent. So we got some issues.
Yeah, Dalton Kincaid came on the second half of the season. James Cook did some good things for him, but wide receiver wise, there was already a question mark if Diggs stays there. They have literally, they just cut Deontay Hardy, who did play some wide receiver for him. Davis is up for whatever contract he's going to get, whether it's in Buffalo or somewhere else. If you take away Stephon Diggs, you'll get a haul for him, but then you have to replace him. And with the way wide receivers are now, teams want to just get their guys under contract. We saw the franchise tags with T. Higgins and Michael Pittman, etc. So, do you go to free agency and sign a Calvin Ridley? Well, he's worse than Stephon Diggs. Marquise Brown is worse than Stephon Diggs. Devontae Adams seemingly isn't going anywhere. So Josh Allen, he's a really talented quarterback, but you got to put talent around him, much like you have to do with every other quarterback. And outside of Kincaid and James Cook, if you don't have Diggs, you really don't have a lot there. Plus, you just gutted your defense with pretty much all your veterans. So.
Yeah, and if you're going to be a consistent then contender, because everyone's saying, well, wait a minute, Patrick Mahomes and that offense. Okay, Travis Kelce going to be a Hall of Famer, one of the best tight ends. You either have to have a brilliant head coach, and Andy Reid is brilliant, and you're going to have a quarterback that can elevate. And right now, Patrick Mahomes, credit to him, man. He's fantastic. Yeah. Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, obviously that defense was incredible for the Chiefs this year. The Bills have had trouble getting over the hump in the playoffs, and it's ironic that the most talk is going to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, which again, we already know that whole conversation.
Well,
Go ahead, Brad.
I'm just trying to understand, like, they're $40 million over the cap after the adjustment, correct?
I think it was before. I'm pretty sure it was before.
So then they're what? They're still $7 million over.
Yeah,
something?
they're still over.
Actually, I'm not sure with the Von Miller restructure and then Rasul Douglas. I think it's going to be close, but they'll be under it after June 1st for sure with the whole.
But they have to get under before Monday,
so
or before Wednesday.
Yeah, so
but
it's
like,
going to be.
And so that's kind of like I'm a little bit mind blown. I mean, Brandon Beane, GM of the Bills, had to have known that this was coming for a while, right? Like, this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that they were this far over the cap. I guess my question is that, like, if I'm the owner of the Bills, I'm looking at Brandon Beane being like, how did this happen? How did we get to this point? Like,
and that's like what we talk about with the Saints, where they're like 80 million over the cap every single season, and they brought in Derek Carr, who's on a $100 million plus contract.
And so far, all that's gone off to a great start.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's my point. Like, and you look at, I mean, the Bills obviously a great team, but you look at somebody like the Saints and whatever, they pay these players all this money, and there's nothing to show for it. Whereas you have like all these big names on like the Ravens, for example. So, and they're able to get them into some pretty cheap contracts. I think this is more or less of an Eric DaCosta appreciation comment here, statement.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, all the things that he did this past season, and was able to still remain under the cap with some ridiculous talent.
Yeah, you know what? For that, can we give an Eric DaCosta appreciation clap here for the second here? Can we get some Eric DaCosta appreciation?
I kind of forgot I was wearing a Saints jersey at first. So I just saw myself on the screen.
Yeah,
the Saints. The Saints are always just hilarious to talk about. I love how you brought it up, because every year it is like somehow the Saints are $80 million over the cap, and then they somehow still are players in free agency because they restructure everybody and their mother in that organization every year.
Crazy.
It's a skill to be able to maneuver the cap that they do, but that's why, at least when people are saying,
it's a big deal too.
Well, and so that's what I meant, is that without Gabe Davis and you have Stephon Diggs, I mean, Khalil Shakir looked really good in moments last year. But again, as we've seen with teams, the Bills are going to have to run the football more. That's definitely seems like when they took over, that was a very good formula for their success down the stretch. But at the end of the day, you're going to need more than Stephon Diggs to make consistent plays. And down the stretch, when they shut him down, where he wasn't as involved, you could feel the presence of it. So we'll see how that goes. But since we're talking about Eric DaCosta appreciation here, and by the way, if you're tuning in, we got a lot of people tuning in on X, which is fantastic. If you're new to the show, thank you. Welcome. If I'm at Ryan Ripken I guess we're at Own the Chaos at Kevin Ostriker.
Chaos Striker 34.
No goodness.
That's Zach Bollinger 18.
And then we have at Rocco DeSangro behind the scenes here for a second. But we're also on YouTube. We do this twice a week, usually Mondays and Thursdays, but it's a special show tonight because of just the schedule for the week. We're going to talk more Orioles here down the stretch here, but we are talking about some spicy topics. So in this case, Kevin, do you mind, since we want to have appreciation for Eric DaCosta, the Ravens are in a good position. The franchise tag deadline did pass. The deal with Justin Madubuike was not done, but it's not a surprise. Why don't we start there on what Ravens fans can hope to expect as we move forward into this offseason? Yeah,
so, long story short, on Madubuike, it was the franchise tag applied to him, which means right now it's a 1-year fully guaranteed $22.1 million deal. Now, that doesn't mean he's locked into the tag. There can be an extension up till July 15th. Then after that, he's locked into play on that tag. Now, ideally, what the Ravens would do here is they would sign him to an extension before free agency starts on Monday. That's the tampering period. The actual new league year starts 2 days later on Wednesday. Now, the franchise tag number for Madubuike is going to impact potentially how the Ravens can maneuver through free agency, because they went from about $12 to $13 million under the cap to $10 million over it, with the Madubuike fully guaranteed $22.1 million. Now, there are a couple different ways the Ravens can free up that space. The Bills right now, every team has to get under the salary cap by the time the free agency period starts. That includes the Ravens. So there are a couple of moves they can make, including extensions, restructures, cut candidates. I think the obvious one, you can actually save, I think, $11.1 or $2 million just by by restructuring Lamar Jackson's deal. That by itself would get them under. But you also can look at potential cut candidates like Tyus Bowser, who would save them $5.5 million. I don't know what in the world was going on with Bowser. It seemed like there was maybe a disconnect between Bowser and the team in terms of his injury. He didn't play all last year. The big one, though, was Ronnie Stanley. I think that's where everybody's looking towards. They can save $15 million if they release him as a post-June 1 cut, so that money would be available after June 1st. But they can maybe approach him for a restructure and maybe say, hey, give us back half of this money. We'll restructure your deal, this, that, and the other. Morgan Moses, another candidate, Patrick Ricard. And then the only other one I see is Patrick McCary, but even I don't see that. I don't think they're going to release him. There are a couple other guys who you could save money with, but it just makes no sense whatsoever. So the Ravens will be under the salary cap by the time free agency starts. Just a matter of how they end up doing. If they're in a decent spot, I expect them to have anywhere from $20 to $30 million, probably more so towards like 20 by the time free agency starts. And that's enough to go and re-sign some of your own guys and make those deals backloaded so you are able to maximize free agency this year. And then maybe it is bringing in Derrick Henry or one of these cap casualties we're seeing. Maybe Trey White is a fun name to think about in that secondary. So we'll see what happens, but they're in a much better situation than some of the teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, we like to fantasize, right? We like to go to that magical place and think what can be. I mean, Zach does it every single hour on Twitter specifically, and Rocco does it every other day. Yeah, no, Rocco's a pretty civil guy. Rocco, can we bring you back out yet? Are you okay? Oh, there you are.
Oh, that's a clip. That's a face.
Oh goodness, we were worried for a moment. But hearing all,
were you?
What
were you now?
That's gonna be clipped. Why would you?
Did it to myself, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good kid. But with all this, Rock, the point with it, going with this, we mentioned all these names. More than likely, and I think people already know this. I'm just gonna say it out loud, and not that I want this to be what's the phrase when you say it into existence, it happens.
Speak it into existence,
right? Manifest. I don't want this to manifest, but if Matabike is going to be a Raven, hopefully, and probably as everyone assumes, Patrick Queen is not going to be a Raven. Going to be sad. You've gotten to experience and seen PQ in so many ways, but realistically, Rock, like that's probably what's going to happen if you're going to hold on to Matabike, which I think we're all in agreement here on this panel. That guy's got to stay in Baltimore.
Yes.
Yeah. The writing's kind of been on the wall with Patrick Queen. And it's unfortunate because I think the Ravens would love nothing more than to have Queen here, but not picking up his fifth-year option last year and then drafting the guy you expect to be his replacement in Trenton Simpson. The Ravens already did the legwork to kind of push Queen along the way and say, hey, man, like, thank you for your time here, but we're going to move on. We got to pay other guys. I hate it, and only because like I wish there was more money for the Ravens to come to a deal with Queen and give him what he's worth, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. What I want to say about the Ravens and the franchise tag with Matabike, I think it's a good thing because the Ravens have been historically great with franchise tagging guys and getting deals done. They've done it 9 times since they've been here in Baltimore doing this, and 2 times they weren't able to come to a new agreement with a player. One of those instances was the first player they franchise tagged, that was Wally Williams. And then the second one was more recently, that was Matthew Judon. But when they franchise tag someone, they have full plans of bringing them back and bringing them back for a long-term deal. And you could kind of look at this as an extension of being able to negotiate because now you have up until July to get that long-term deal done with Justin Matabike. We saw it last year with Lamar Jackson. It was like at the time, it seemed like it was the end of the world because the non-exclusive, everyone was like, oh no, Lamar can negotiate with teams. And then no teams went after Lamar for one reason or another, maybe because they knew he was going to stay here in Baltimore. But the Ravens eventually got a deal done with him. I really expect them to get the same done with Justin Matabike and agree to a long-term deal with him.
I think, and again, what we say, if he wants $100 million,
billions.
Then you give the man what he wants. And Matabike, and he deserves it. Give him the truckload. And a last point here, and we'll move on from this subject. Kevin, you got something?
Yeah, so with the non-exclusive tag, is that's what Matabike actually got, with Rocco saying, I agree. It's when you franchise tag a guy, you have every intention of getting that guy under contract. Now, there is a scenario where Matabike could leave, and that's where he can negotiate with another team, and then a team signs him to an offer sheet, And then if that ends up being agreed upon, the Ravens would get 2 first-round picks back. That's the conversation we had about Lamar last year with the non-exclusive tag. Now, I think it's vastly different for a quarterback as opposed to any other position there. Plus, we were unsure what Lamar's future was going to look like. I think it's only happened, literally once, and it was a long time ago, where a guy has actually switched teams after being franchise tagged, and that thing was actually put to use and that trade happened. So the franchise tag pretty much all but secures Madubuike in Baltimore in 2024. Now the question is, does he play on that franchise tag, or is an extension agreed upon before that July 15th deadline?
You know what we just said about manifesting things? Do not manifest that shit.
I was not manifesting. I was just giving facts.
Kevin's almost giving facts. Madubuike, go get signed somewhere else. That's what he's saying right there. Verbatim. That's Chaos Striker 34. Was that right?
There you go. Yep.
Oh, that's that.
On the
Never
money.
mind.
There you go.
Well, you can go post Madubuike's college highlights if he hits the open market.
I already I know. I need the Ravens to sign who's like a veteran on the market this year. Like off the top,
Dude,
like defensive veteran.
What do you want
Derrick
to
Derrick Henry Alabama highlights would hit different.
I'm gonna do. Yep.
Yeah, Derrick Henry Alabama highlights
Or Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
Oh.
Ravens are getting a stud.
The Russell Wilson one did all right. That one did okay. I don't know if anybody saw. So for a very brief backstory, my favorite thing is whenever a veteran gets signed and they were really good at one point, maybe not so good at this current point, I like to go back, find very old highlights and post those highlights and say, oh, they're getting a dog in this guy. Started off, it was actually very innocent with Deshaun Jackson. When the Ravens signed him, I literally said, this is the Ravens' new receiver, Deshaun Jackson. And it was like a compilation of his top 10, longest catches of his career. But the good thing was they put the years after every catch. First catch was from 2009. And granted, this was 2022 we were in.
Yeah.
And so, people were saying this was 3 presidencies ago, like Modern Warfare 2 just came out when these highlights
Zach
dropped, so.
just was born, so
I was in second grade.
In 2009?
Oh, no.
Well, you said it, so he was in
You
second
were
grade.
in third grade.
Yeah, close enough.
Oh, shirts and pants. All right, let's.
I was well out of high school.
Yeah, you are.
You were not.
Dad the bread.
I was not
Brad
yet.
the dad. I said Dad the bread.
All right. So if you guys are new to the channel, by the way, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're on X and Twitter enjoying this, thank you. Hit that follow button. We would greatly appreciate this. We do this twice a week. Before we get into going around Maryland and talking about, Orioles and some other stuff, though, last thing that I think we want to talk about was of the spicy topics, which is just maybe a quick point, Brad.
Yeah.
That Aaron Rodgers, even though he has been playing football for a long time, coming off an Achilles tear, said he wanted to play 3 or 4 more years. Is that what we're hearing, Brad?
That's what we're hearing. And I thought that was a pretty interesting comment from Aaron. He's what, he'll be 39. He is 39, right?
He is at this specific moment. He is 40 years old.
He is 40. Okay.
Mm.
So, I mean, he's basically saying that he's going to play as long as Tom Brady did. I just don't know if we see that happen. He's got one more year on his contract with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost kind of like, let's see what he can do this year with the players that he's got. I just don't see how he's going to do much. And then after that, who's going to sign him? I don't know if he goes anywhere else. I would venture to say that if he doesn't go deep into the playoffs with the Jets this year, his career is probably over.
Plus the Achilles too. We got to wonder what he's going to look like coming off of that. I know he has his ways and whatever he
I'm
likes to do.
not too worried about that, honestly, because of the type of tear it was, and it was way different than like a J.K. Dobbins and our good friend of the show, Nick Moore. We already kind of saw that he was way more mobile, so I'm not really worried about the Achilles injury. It's more so just like the age and the degradation that comes along with that. And then, if we see that he's clearly missed a step next year just because of an age factor, that he's not going to have that much talent around him either. I don't know. I would venture to say that if I was a betting man, next year is going to be his last year in the NFL.
Yeah, wasn't there a lot of rumors going around too that allegedly Mecole Hardman's exit, of what he thought about the Jets and everything
That was
going
a whole
on.
mess.
Yeah. So, I mean, for those that didn't know, Mecole Hardman saying that apparently the Jets, just how they went about it, they put so much into Aaron Rodgers that we all knew, but it just the level of play and the the effort. And that's why I preface this as just he said, she said, rumor stuff, because this is an NFL team. These are grown men going out there balling out. And Mecole Hardman, not like he was making an impact on that team either. So he was very disgruntled and pissed off. But yeah, Brad, I mean, play until you're 43, 44 for Aaron. That's I don't know if I want to take that bet. Zach might take it.
Well, even you also have to think about how atrocious the Jets offensive line was
That's what I was
last
just
year.
about to say.
Like,
Yep.
we're going to have 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers still, even though he still looks mobile, he still looks like he came back from it decently. Well, time will tell. He's coming off an Achilles injury, and he's got no offensive line right now.
Right.
That is not a formula for success for a 40-year-old quarterback.
They just got rid of Laken Tomlinson. They released him for some salary cap relief, and he's been pretty durable over the past couple of seasons. So if they don't go offensive line, so just a very brief story. They wanted to take who is the guy the Steelers got? Broderick Jones out of Georgia last year, but the Steelers actually jumped them and took him. And then the Jets, I think, panicked and took Will McDonald like a round earlier than he was supposed to go out of Iowa State. And McDonald barely played for them. And Broderick Jones took over a starting spot for Pittsburgh and actually looked solid with a lot of potential. McDonald was just not playing by the time the second half of the season rolled around. So they need to take offensive line and just prioritize that. Not to mention they have to get some receivers in there not named Garrett Wilson, because there's not a lot of weapons there either.
Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. A lot of question marks with the Jets, but if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, you never know. But for a long period of time, who's to say? All right, I think that kind of covers the football part right now, as far as what we were getting into and the spiciness. I did see at one point, and Joe, of course, I think it was Joe saying this, was about we need to see Rocco highlights from Alabama. Oh yeah.
I'll get him.
Can we find? Oh, I got it. Can we find highlights of Rocco in Alabama? We might. By the way. And Rocco, he cannot wait.
Did you know that he covered the Iron Bowl?
Yeah, not many people
do. Do you know what we should do? It might not be too late now, but definitely next year we should do a Ryan Ripken Show combine. All of us.
Oh wow, we're getting so many different ideas. For people last time that were on their show or on Monday, we talked about doing the hot dog race, but live people outside of Camden Yards at Pickles Pub. We got our contestants as far as what we're going to be. It's going to be a wild and fun time. But actually,
you offered to do it naked.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you know what that. I might have blacked out on that one. But I also was meaning, like, the thought was you guys were all doing condiments. Like, I'll just be the plain dog, you know?
It's just a
I'll
hot
be
dog.
naked.
Oh, you'll be the plain dog, all right.
Yeah. I'll
Make
just
sure you take care of the skin too.
Make sure to cut off the skin.
Okay, this is great. My mom heard us talking about that, and she's like, "I have some thoughts." And I'm like, and I'm like, Kelly, please don't, mom, if you're tuning in, I love you. And for all those tuning in, we got a lot tuning in on X tonight. You love to see
not
it.
complaining, but goddamn, that's.
Well, maybe they want to hear about the Q&A, Brad, before we get into the Orioles.
I'm
discussion.
glad you asked. So I tried to do something different. You guys know, for those of you who are friends of the show and watch us regularly, you know that I am famous for putting up some pretty incredible polls. I decided to go a different route today and just do with a regular Q&A. So I put a question up in YouTube, and I also put it up on X as well. Nobody's really responding to it in X, and I don't really see too much engagement here. So we'll see how this goes in the future. But I thought it would be a good question that's open-ended rather than just putting a poll with only 4 options, because there's so many good ones. So the question that I asked was, what is the greatest I'm dead and I know it moment in movies? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, think about like Armageddon, right? When Bruce Willis was about ready to eat it at the end of the movie. Like those types of moments where like I'm dead and I know it. For me, when I saw this, shout out to whoever I stole it. All the right movies on Twitter. I took this from them. I actually retweeted this, and I said that moment in the movie Troy, when Hector goes out and like he just knows that Achilles is going to kill him. He
Hector!
just knows. Yeah.
When he's screaming, Hector, you're done.
Oh yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So like that was like one of the most iconic I'm dead and I know it moments in movies. What about everybody else?
I feel like, honestly, the first thing that popped into my head is it's got to be Titanic with the I'm thinking the violinist, just like, damn, like they're just like, I guess this is how we're going out. They're just playing the violin.
Well, first off, I'm proud of you for mentioning that, because that was made before your time.
Yes,
but
no.
the other part was after he plays it, he goes, "It's been an honor to play with you tonight," and it's like, oh my goodness,
Jesus Christ! Yeah.
But great scene, by the way, great choice. Kevin or Rocco, you guys got one?
Even like in Star Wars, when right at the end with Darth Vader, when he says like, "Let me look at you with my own eyes for once," or whatever that was. I saw a lot of people, because I saw that same tweet. I saw a lot of people with Tony Stark in Avengers with the Infinity Gauntlet, where he says, he snaps the fingers, and he knows he's about to die with that thing on. But I think Star Wars. I'm gonna pick Star Wars.
Rocco, do you want to hop in?
I know
here?
Zach's before I get into mine, and that was the night before Thanksgiving when he got disgustingly drunk and then went to the turkey bowl the next day. That was his on dead moment. Yeah,
the turkey bowl was a rough one. That's for sure.
It was a little rough.
Yeah,
but for mine, it would be I Am Legend when Will Smith says goodbye to Sam. And that's when you knew it was about to hit the fan. Such a sad movie, such a great movie. I mean, that was like growing up, saw that movie. It was like everyone wanted to see it. And then when you saw it, you're like, oh, this is great. And then that happens. And you're like, it's unfortunate.
Goodness.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
These are kind of getting sad
in
here.
Graven, you didn't have to bring it back up. When MVS
It's not a movie, bro. It's not a movie.
It felt like a movie in the moment to me, and it was a nightmare, or not nightmare. It was a horror film.
God damn it,
It was
Engraven.
a horror
You
film.
play like In the Eyes of the Angel or whatever it is. Fly, like, slow play that compilation.
There was one I saw online, and I give yours, Ryan, before, so I don't ruin it.
Well, you know what I was also thinking on the side? I feel like a lot of the Disney movies also just have these really sad moments where it happens. That's not mine. Mine, actually, I'll just go with this. I'll lighten it up a little bit because I kind of laughed, but it was also, because it had the Jurassic Park. It has to do with dinosaurs. So, I'm pretty sure right now we're not going to see dinosaurs killing people, at least in 2024, maybe in 2025, 2026, if they ever get, replicated back, whatever. Yeah. It was that the hunter on Jurassic Park was going out there to hunt the velociraptor, and he's looking for it. And all of a sudden, that thing is right next to him. Yep. And he just looks over and just goes, "Clever girl." And then dead. Yeah. And it's like, all right, you know what? He's like, touche.
Yep.
But it wasn't that horrifying.
No, but that's a good one.
But that was I enjoyed that one. So if you guys have some good ones, let us know too. And this is what it's all about.
I got a good runner up, and that's Randy Quaid in Independence Day when he drives that plane into the ship. Ends the movie there.
Hello, boys, I'm back.
Yeah.
There's some good lines. We're gonna have to go through a lot of I think we're all huge movie people is what we're seeing. I quote Wedding Crashers on a side note too many times, like the one-liners. I think we're gonna have to talk about like some of our favorite one-liners in the future. Rocco, what are you smirking about over there?
I'm just thinking about like every time you say heel cinnamon. It is such a great line.
To you specifically, actually. That's Rocco's line.
Yeah.
So right now for some reason on X, I'm getting circulated and on Instagram with Heavyweights clips from 1995. And for those that don't know that movie, it's Ben Stiller is bought a camp where they say this is where you send kids that are overweight to fat camp to lose weight and do it the Perkis system way. I have a cutoff, the Perkis system cutoff I got in Norfolk. Maybe a Rip After Dark, I can talk about what I did with the cutoff. But
Jesus.
Well, we'll wait for the Discord if that is. And if you aren't on there, check out the Discord. Oh, okay, that actually is a good one. Tony Stark was the first one I thought of. When he got the
what's it called? He's wearing
the Infinity.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. People were looking in the comments when I was looking in the comments. Everybody was talking about that.
Yeah.
So we love this. We love the ability to just talk about this type of stuff. We got so off topic last time. We're not going to do that
hilarious.
as much.
By far the most hilarious show we have ever had was on Monday.
It was chaos, and that was the only thing. I wish Nick Moore was here. Nick even said he was laughing his ass off when Rocco reminded him that he has to absolutely wreck Kevin.
Yeah, I've been training. I have no shot, but I've been training.
Oh my God, I don't know. We're gonna have to get like one of those sumo suits for Kevin.
Like one of those bubble things.
Oh yes.
Oh my God.
Punch me.
It's like the Zorbing balls. They used to do that at the minor league game.
That might get cleared. We could maybe do that.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
Nick. And by the way, Nick, 2024 Pro Bowl.
Yes,
The
well,
campaign has already started.
Hashtag
Send him to the Pro Bowl. Not only can Nick hike the ball, I guess what he did, snap the ball. He doesn't like me saying hike. That dude can wreck people, specifically ones that are 5'8", 7 and below.
Well, technically 5'6" and 24 25ths, but I rounded up to 5'6".
24 25ths. Oh my god.
It's true. That's literally what I got measured at.
And Graven's in your corner. He says you've always got a shot as long as you
That's
show
right.
up. You got a shot at dying, is basically what that is.
Oh, gosh. Well, why don't we now? We'll go back to a little bit of some sports talk here. And again, if you're new to the podcast, hit that like and subscribe button for the Ryan Ripken Show. And on X, follow us on X. We're pretty active. We're on the podcast platforms too. We're trying to push that more and more. Check us out on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. And come join us in the Discord. We are trying to grow that. Still trying to figure it out. Don't know what the hell is going on about 80% of the time, but we are working on it. That is a promise for what we're doing. But guys, you already know what time it is. I think it's time to get in our Adams Jeep and start to do our ride around Maryland.
Oh my gosh.
I'm actually
I think Kevin's sort of got
I'm
it.
improving.
It's better.
I'm improving.
It's better. Not gonna
Dude,
lie.
I'm so proud.
Kevin looks like he's trying to fire up to the crowd, like
But
hands
you still
to the
get
left,
the bus.
hands to
Like,
the right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm being extra
Hands
cautious
to the
because when I over exaggerate it, then we start to get
Easy,
crazy. So I'm trying to be very conservative this time.
Hey, you know what? Actually, if people can write in the comments about if no wrong answers only of what Kevin does, because that's what we're gonna end up doing is get a photo of Kevin caught in all of his different poses for the Adams Jeep of Maryland here. And speaking of Adams Jeep here for a second, Adams Jeep of Maryland is our sponsor, our proud sponsor, car sponsor up in Aberdeen, Maryland. And it's right behind Zach here, the beautiful sign. We're getting that look down.
Yeah.
So I actually just spent time with them the other day, went up there. And this is the beauty of it. If you don't have to have a Jeep, you can go in there and get service for whatever car you want. They also have pre-owned cars that are also not Jeep. There is a deal that they are doing, and we'll talk about this more. If you buy a pre-owned car with them, you can also then get a gas card for $500. But you have to mention that you heard it here on the Ryan Ripken Show. And then you get it.
Damn. $500.
$500 for gas. And they're running a friends and family sponsorship package, which we will post on the pages for you guys to check out.
Shut the front door.
Wow. And you think I'm corny, but I freaking love it.
That's awesome.
Rolled on.
That's a great deal.
That's great. And also I told Rocco gave Chuck and asked for Chuck. You can call him Chuck or Chuck the fuck, whichever one you want to do.
Well,
Did he like that?
He did. He loved that one.
Good.
He loved that
hilarious.
one. But anyway, in all seriousness, they are great sponsors of us. And actually, I want to do one quick shout out before we dive into the Orioles updates and what's going on. Another staple in Maryland and for us is the Iron Rooster. We love the Iron Rooster restaurant. Actually, they kind of had their almost welcoming to College Park last night. Rocco and I actually were down there. First off, you're not going to meet a nicer owner than Kyle. First and foremost, that he is single-handedly feeding Rocco for years moving forward. He does everything. We tasted out their new dinner menu that they were doing down there. Really great. Travis Pastrana and the Nitro Circus was down there.
Nice.
They're having a good time promoting their Good Boy vodka, I believe is what they're selling.
What?
Fantastic.
I didn't even know they had vodka.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be at the Iron Rooster.
There you go.
So we wanted to shout out them because the Iron Rooster for us, we have so much more going on there. And I think actually he's on us, making some roostarts, guys.
Kyle's the man. He feeds all of us, not just Rocco.
Legend.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rocco's missed a lot of the times that the Iron Rooster has helped cater to us. They also cater a ton. So if you want services with them, go to the Iron Rooster. Rocco, what do you
I
got?
eat the shit out of their chicken nugs.
Yeah, you did. You demolished it.
Or as Ryan would put it, boneless wings. But they are incredible.
I did not say that. Okay,
well,
Rock, go ahead.
While we're talking about boneless wings and bone-in wings,
oh boy,
I tried which is going to be on their dinner menu, their new Honey Old Bay wings. And I'm a straight buffalo or like hot when it comes to wings. And I've never been a fan of the Honey Old Bay, with a kick to it. I'm just not. I don't know why. I'm sorry. It's like sacrilegious in Maryland to say that, but they were fantastic, man. I made sure I got like 3 on the bottom with the sauce, dipped it in there, and it was unbelievable. They're some of the best wings I've ever had. And I'm a wing snob, so not just saying that because we love Kyle. He's awesome, but like they were next level. So you're gonna have to try them.
Yeah, and I got uncomfortably full trying all of the food, but the wings were
everything.
dynamite. And what I love with them is that he cares about the community. And that's why we love people that care about the community, want to do the best by the people. And that's why we're going to have a lot more coming with the Iron Rooster, especially I think with some special guests that you guys are going to want to spend time in getting to know. All right, so let's go back into the updates now that we run around Maryland, and now we're going down to Sarasota or Bradenton, depending on where you are specifically, I guess, or where the Orioles and Pirates are playing. Orioles Pirates, I believe the game now is, since Jason
3-0.
It was now it's 3-1 now, so we are a little bit behind there because in the process, Bruce Zimmerman is pitching. He's gone 2 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks for Brucey.
Roll Dons.
And that's
Roll Dons, baby.
and that's a guy too. Do you want to give? Yeah, you can give him some
Roll
Dons.
Dons.
Yeah.
No one else is going to clap for that?
Nope.
You're on
Kevin,
your
I know
own.
your friend's hands want to clap for that.
Huh?
I know your friend's hands want to clap.
My friend. No, I played high school baseball for 4 years. I was not on the field for a win. I was
Kevin.
I was injured. I was
Kevin.
injured. I was injured for 2 of the 4 seasons. I had 2 season-ending injuries, and we just were bad the other 2 seasons.
Kevin, you just have some little lines here and there, some zingers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I never was on the field for a win.
I wasn't.
Every time Kevin says something, it's like Kevin is
It's comedic
very
relief.
underrated. One of the funniest, like maybe the funniest
It's-
guy on the
it's
show,
it's
but it's
comedic relief.
unintentional.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like unintentionally the funniest
you know,
guy.
side note here, can we put Kevin in like a when it's St. Patty's Day, put him in like a leprechaun costume?
I'll only do that if Rocco also does it.
Oh,
There we go.
This I got to do it. Give the people what they want, man.
Oh, the people want that.
Oh,
They want
yes.
this guy and this and that guy.
And then we'll do a real fist bump as leprechauns together.
Yes.
Oh, a
you
leprechaun
can.
fist bump. Remember, like in elementary school when the leprechauns would come in and like mess up the room, that you guys could mess up the studio. You not remember that?
No.
They did they not do that for
Yes.
you guys?
Yes, they.
Thank you. Thank
Sorry.
you.
I removed myself. Yo, it was always like over the loudspeaker.
Oh, you are really excited about
I'm
this.
sorry. It was great. It was great. You just got me fired up about this.
You got really close to the camera to bring
Second
this
or
up.
third grade. Second or third grade, we came back and it happened. And we were like, there's no
Oh, yeah.
way. Like, it's not a leprechaun. Like, because our
Got your
teacher
ass.
was with us. Obviously, like, it was a leprechaun. But the leprechaun got over the loudspeaker and like started like talking to our school, which made it even more believable.
In what
So-
language? Like,
When did you figure out it wasn't a leprechaun?
like 3 days ago.
Probably like 2 years ago.
Hey guys, on a side note here, this is what I was thinking. We're getting on leprechauns. How the hell did we get here, by the way? I don't know. But there's a sketch or there's a video on YouTube, and this was down in the South, Rocco. Maybe you were there at the time. It's way above, but they were like, there's reports of a mysterious creature, and they draw like, and here's the artist's rendition, and it looks like a leprechaun. and then the person's being interviewed, and he goes, "Yeah, you can ask the people behind me." He goes, "If you guys all saw a leprechaun, say yeah, yeah."
Dude,
we can
yeah,
pull that up. It was
in
you know what
Mo-
I'm talking about.
It was in Mobile. It was in Mobile, Alabama. Yes.
Of course,
And, like,
you know.
it went viral. It went viral. It was a crazy news story, but it was
That's
also
hilarious.
hilarious. There's some wild ones. Speaking of Alabama, the
boy.
hide your kids. Remember the hide your kids video? I'm not gonna finish
Oh,
the
yeah.
rest of it, but like it was
Yep.
like the hide your kids, hide your wife, like
Said
that guy.
Dante,
It was what
Deontay or Dante Jackson, whoever it was.
from Huntsville,
Yes.
Huntsville, Alabama. So
Well,
There's
so
some-
I think what
there's
we're
some,
finding out, a lot that happens down in Alabama
You know, yeah,
for content.
Florida man ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
On Alabama, apparently.
But let's just book it here. St. Patrick's Day, no better way to celebrate the Ryan Ripken Show than to have.
Antoine Dodson. Brad.
There it is,
What's his name?
Antoine. Yeah.
You weren't even close.
There it is. There's the artist's rendition.
Yes.
You know,
can't say yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're gonna clip this video and we're gonna put that part in the middle of it to exactly understand what's going on. All right, we are way off topic here, but we love this. You know what? This is what it's getting to know each other a little bit more. It's just a couple good kids in Rocco. This has been phenomenal. Why don't we talk about the game for a second? It's 3-2 Pirate or 3-2 Orioles, top of the fifth. Bruce Zimmerman's a guy I think that actually is going to be possibly leaned on potentially this year for the Orioles. Like, it's a name that's not talked about, but he fits the role of being that hybrid of starter, long reliever. Not saying we don't know what's going to happen here. And as I just spoke, Pirates tied the game up. That's just how the cookie crumbles.
No, they just took the lead.
Well,
Jason just says as soon as Rocco got excited, O's down 4-3. God damn it, Rocco.
You think Jason's like watching us on his phone and he has another phone in hand tweeting the updates and then watching the game as well? That's like,
he's dedicated enough. I could see it.
He is. He's very dedicated.
Man.
Oh, you guys are.
I don't want to say too many
Couple
nice
good
things
kids.
about him because it's come back to kind of bite me in the rear end. But
Yep.
Great guy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah. Great guy, Jason. Mm-hmm.
Get
All right,
angry so we can score. I will
talk about?
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Oh, I was gonna say, can we talk some Jackson Holliday?
Yeah,
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, can we talk about it? Since we did the video, we talked about it, and we had last time on the episode. You guys should go back and check it out where we had more conversations. Rocco actually spoke specifically with Jackson Holliday, and that was when Jackson started to pick it up. And then since then, he's been on the tear. And Zach, Jackson now, I saw you put out a tweet of saying the probability, and I'll have my thoughts here in a second, but your probabilities for Jackson making the team keeps going up, especially after that 3-hit game against the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, and I think actually the biggest, not telltale, but thing I saw that changed my mind, because the way I put it in the tweet is I think coming into spring training, I was about 50-50. He could make the team. He could not. He could start in the minors. Started struggling, and I dropped it down to like 30-35%. But after Brandon Hyde was asked about Jackson making the team, and he said, it's not necessarily about the stats. It's how he looks. It's how comfortable he is at the plate, the quality at the at-bat, how he looks at second base, being in the field. So that, to me, sounded like a manager saying, yeah, it's spring training. We'd like him to do well, but at the same time, they want to see how he looks. The comfortability is a massive thing. And I think that's what, from his first at bat in spring training to that 3-for-4 day yesterday, he looks like a totally different hitter in the box, confidence-wise, with comfortability. So I do think right now I have it at about 70% chance he makes the team in my head.
Yeah, I think, well, we talk about like overreactions, and I think it goes both ways, where it's overreactions to whether it's slow starts or fast starts and how a guy progresses. So I have it like, I think to me, it's probably like 60-40 in my opinion, like closer to 50-50. But in my opinion, and we talked about this last time, if he's there, he's there, and he's not going back down. Like that to me is the thing where if you're the Royals and you feel like he's ready to make the club out of spring training, you're not going to send him back down if that's what it is, unless something crazy, I don't even know what that would be, but unless something crazy happens.
Well, you got to be okay with guys struggling. You know what I mean? And I think that's the big part of, as much as Jackson could end up being the greatest baseball player to ever live, but even the greatest players are going to have their struggle periods, especially when you're younger. I mean, and I bring this up, we brought it up, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, even Cedric Mullins struggled coming up to the big leagues. Like it was an adjustment period for these guys. You can go through the other list, Austin Hayes, Anthony Santander. You had to deal with, the changes, right? So at some point, Jackson might have to deal with that. And as young as he is, that's where the conversation keeps going. But the thing I think we keep bringing up here, if you're going to bring him up, he's got to play. Yes. He's got to play all the time. But if he's not going to, then that's a whole different discussion. The Orioles, Jackson's not on the 40-man, right? Mm-hmm. So since he's not on the 40-man and they'd have to clear a roster spot, it's a lot more moves. And it just, as great as it's been, I think still the verdict's not going to be out on whether he's going to make it. I still lean the fact that he's not going to start with the team. I still believe that that's what's going to happen. But what I love about him is you're seeing he's using the whole field. He's driving the ball to every part of it. And I think as that starts to show overall, he's going to have a lot of success at the big league level. And so a lot of these prospects, but everyone has their eyes on Jackson Holliday, who is also right now, he's not playing. He's not in the lineup for tonight's game. And for the recap for that right now, Gunnar Henderson's got a couple knocks. Great seeing Gunnar back, by the way. He seems healthy. He seems good. And I was not a worry in the world. Obies are tough, though.
Yeah,
man.
I was kind of worried. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of worried, not in the sense of like, oh, I thought this was going to be, something massive or a big injury. But it was one of those injuries, like you said, with obliques, where I was really interested to see how he would feel the first few at bats and how he would do the first few times playing. And like you say, he's got a few knocks tonight. He looks good out there. And that's just such a great sign for the Orioles, because talk about a guy that, we've talked about him potentially an MVP type player for the Orioles this year. So he's a guy that they were always going to take it slow. They were going to be cautious about it. It looks like so far, knock on wood, it's going well.
It seems to be going very well. Can we talk about another guy that's been fighting injuries real quickly before we talk about another media personality?
Also, real quick, I was trying to find this as well. I believe the Orioles are at 39 on their 40-man roster right now.
Well, and they like to keep it that way if they can. It's strategic for a reason, because also when it gets close to the end of camp too, teams are going to have to make moves. They're going to try to claim people. That's just the reality of the situation.
I don't want to be Brandon Hyde or Mike Elias at the end of spring training.
Oh, hell no.
It's got to be you got so much talent, and it's like, how do you choose?
Good problem to have, though. But
100%. But goddamn,
doesn't make it any easier, though.
No, and then another guy, this isn't even prospect wise, but we're talking about that people are saying the Orioles need more pitching or they need to put the right roster out. You're forgetting about guys that might be on a comeback. And one of those names that always gets, it really bothers fans because they don't think he's pitched well enough. Personally, I know he dealt with a lot of injuries last year, and everyone sees his face all over the rain delay games on Masson, which is Keegan Aiken, which all I've heard about Keegan Aiken is he looks phenomenal. He does look really good to start this year. So that goes into the decisions so far of kind of what the Orioles are going to have to do here. And if you are tuning in, by the way, Ryan Ripken Show, we're doing this usually Monday and Thursdays, but because of the change of schedule, we had to do this Wednesday, but it seems like it's great that it's on Wednesday because we have so many people tuning in on X.
780 people tuning in right now on X. That's
pretty cool.
Well,
highest of all time on X. That's
that's for sure.
By a wide margin.
And if you guys want to come on over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on X as well. We love this, right? We're going to keep doing this consistently for the season. But I'm going to bring Rock in after we play this clip here, because when we're talking about injuries, one injury-plagued Oriole last year was Cedric Mullins. And Ceddy, I did a breakdown on him last show, with what he can do because he has that it factor. You just know players that have it, right? Ced has it. He's a big-time player, can make big-time plays. And everyone was worried. They were holding their breath. But correct me if I'm wrong, guys. The MRI, checking out his hammy, Zach. Thumbs are up. Can you give a thumbs up?
Yeah, we got thumbs up. It said they actually think it was more of just a cramp he was dealing with. So that is even better sign if that's true.
And it gets hot down there. But so we got a chance, Rocco and I, to talk to Cedric Mullins down at spring training. And Rocco and I do the Rip and Rock podcast, which is just solely audio form. And we do that twice a week, but we had a ton of content. And so here was the little clip here of Cedric's conversation with us, talking about how he feels physically going into the 2024 season.
The game still nags at some of those.
Thumbs up that Ced's feeling great. He's back for a 2024 All-Star campaign.
100%. Like I said, thinking back on the 2023 season, even being back, the intensity of the game still nags at some of those injuries. During that time frame, getting the offseason, getting that time off completely, being able to put in the real work to get fully healthy, definitely paid off. So I'm feeling 100%, continuing to maintain the body.
It's all about maintaining the body here. And let's bring Rocco back on for a second. He said was in good spirits. The whole locker room, everyone's feeling very good. But said it feels like, Rock, he's on a redemption tour to remind people that he is just as good of an outfielder, and he thinks and he believes talent-wise, and I'm with him, that when he's healthy, he can be one of the best in the game at what he does.
I mean, we've seen what he can do when he's healthy. It's being named to the All-Star game, win the Silver Slugger Award. I think that Cedric Mullins could win a Gold Glove as well. His glove is that great out there in center field, and he makes just unbelievable plays. And it's not just the highlight reel plays that you see, the web gems or the top plays. It's the plays that it takes to win a game, like hitting the cutoff, throwing guys at, just like doing the right thing in the field. And that's what you love about Cedric Mullins. So when he left the game, I think it was the second inning with that hamstring tightness, it was like the sky is falling, because it's like, oh no, not another injury for Cedric, because he dealt with 2 IL stints last year. He was on the injured list 2 times last season. So that's not what you want to see from one of your best players, one of your veterans as well. Here's the good thing though. Mullins told reporters today in Sarasota that the MRI on his leg, on his hamstring, that came back clean. So he's just experiencing some cramping, and that's the best case scenario. He could return to game action next week, he said. So we'll wait and see what happens, but it's a great sign ahead of opening day being March 28th. And that's what, 2-3 weeks away. It's coming up
3
quick,
weeks from today.
22 days to be exact.
From tomorrow. And speaking of things you love to see, just went down Gunnar Henderson double for a 3-for-3 night, followed by an Adley Rutschman single to tie the game, score Gunnar. So, I mean, I could get used to that.
Yeah, I think we could. I think Gunner's okay, everyone. I still think when we do predictions, I'm feeling pretty damn good about Gunnar Henderson bringing home some hardware that Baltimore has not seen in quite some time. So time will tell, and Gunnar is ready for that moment. And I know Oriole fans are all ready for that moment as well. There is so many players and so many things to watch and to look at as we continue to move forward into the season. I want to give a quick shout out. I got to give a shout out to the moms out there, right? But specifically my mom. Kelly's on here saying hi.
Round of applause.
What's up, Kelly?
Yeah, give her a round of applause. Yeah.
Keep clapping.
Hey, thanks for
Rocco.
showing that support, Mama. Kelly.
Yeah. Kevin, I swear if you stop clapping.
I was the last one to stop
Kevin is not
clapping.
gonna get caught
I was
lacking
the
again.
last one to stop clapping.
He ain't gonna get caught laughing.
Kevin, that's my mother.
And I was the last one to stop clapping.
I'm just saying, Mom, love you, appreciate all the support. Talk about she doesn't, well, she knows probably too much about me. She's my mother. Hopefully she'll be able to keep it contained in the comments here. Love you, Mom. She did hear about some of the stories from last time, especially what was going on with the whole hot dog situation. And I'm glad you guys got a kick out of that.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't like Rocco either.
Joe's on a roll.
Oh
He's
gosh,
on a roll.
he is on a roll. And Mom, sorry you've been on your own spring training tour. You were busy. And you know what? Eventually here we'll have Kelly on here to talk about some stories.
There we go.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
She's a friend. She's a friend of the show, friend of the program. But I think it'd be a lot of fun. As long, you know what? I was gonna say I got to tame her. No, I'm gonna let her be her. I get a lot of how I am from her.
Oh, yes.
That personality.
I've seen the two of you talk to each other, and it is quite interesting.
Oh,
It's
here we
entertaining.
go.
No.
She says she has stories.
Just saying. Be careful. Be careful what you wish for. I love you, Mom. Appreciate everything you've done. We love all of our viewers here, by the way, whether you are listening on the audio for Spotify and Apple, which we will have out also if you're listening to it in the future. Every single time after the show that night, it will be out. And if you're on your drive the next day, please listen. We have a Discord channel. We do this live. Hit that like and subscribe button or follow button. If you are on Instagram, on X, if you're on Instagram too, if you're on X, and I don't know who all is tuning in, but it's a lot of you.
Yeah.
Hit that follow button for all of us.
Keep going up.
Yeah, just those, keep pumping up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. Let's get those higher.
And, and we do have finally Jason went out there. Did you see? A few minutes ago.
We're breaking bread. We're breaking
I
bread.
saw that was hilarious. Also, Jason,
I did respond. You should share that.
Unreal.
Oh, where did you respond?
Oh gosh. Yeah, Twitter,
Discord.
X, whatever it is. Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
Somebody asked for a Discord link. I have been putting it up periodically, but there you go. There you go, Justin. Just for you.
Perfect.
Link is up.
We appreciate all of that, right? Yeah, go ahead, Rock.
I was just going to say, it's not, I feel like I want to, we talk about traditions, and I want to continue to just build tradition on the show and, do the right thing and enjoy it with you guys, with everyone in the chat. So I think it's right, especially after that comment, to put Joe back in timeout where he belongs. So timeout. That's going to be our tradition, Joe. Goodbye.
There you go.
Oh no, I banned him again.
Well, how about you actually banned then Houston? You blocked him on X, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know I blocked him.
Rocker's a savage.
The best thing is every time it says it says put him in timeout, and then it says Joe Radke's banned, and all their comments were removed. But Brad knows a way to bring him back, which is good. So every time I do it, Brad has the he can basically combat that and just bring him back. Which is cool.
So I figured out. So you ban him. It shows that he's banned on StreamYard, which is a platform that we stream on. Yeah, you're actually putting him in timeout on YouTube. So I didn't have to do anything. So that was good.
Dude, he's gonna start creating burner accounts to just get back at me.
I can't wait.
And just, Zach,
he's gonna find the most out-of-pocket picture of you to put as the profile picture for that burner account.
100%. Oh my God. I did put a poll too. I just asked simply, will Jackson Holliday start on opening day? I've asked this before, but as we get closer, I just kind of want to see where everybody's at. 80% say that yes, he's going to start.
So that's marinating. A lot of people are marinating. They're marinating.
He's already back.
Joe came in on Twitter. Joe, you've done it again. Joe's on a roll tonight.
If you guys don't tonight, man. Yeah, he really is. If you guys don't realize or know this, we love the interactions with our audience. It really drives what we like to do. And this is what we were trying to set up. Give a atmosphere where you guys can listen, maybe get some insight, have some laughs, or possibly get put in timeout by Rocco. Your choice, but you can have it all. And again, if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that follow button wherever you are tuning in from. We like to do this at least twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, usually when baseball also consistently gets going now, not spring training. We're going to have a lot more on the docket, and there will be some changes, but we do have a great crew that can lock us through this. One of the last things we'll close on the evening is I'm starting the segments of Know Your Foe. So the Orioles, obviously, they're going to play a lot of teams this year, and we're starting in the AL East because I was asked about who else would the Orioles fans want to hear more about other players. The first one was Juan Soto going to New York, obviously terrific player. The second one tonight is going to be Bo Bichette for the Toronto Blue Jays. And kind of guys sneakily, it's not even sneaky anymore if you're on social media. There's a rivalry that's been brewing with the Blue Jays fans and the Orioles fans. But make no mistake about it, Bo Bichette, incredible player, and I have some cool things to show you guys.
I still can't hear his name without thinking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know it's not the same, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. Boba Fett? No,
Boba Fett.
Every time you bring him up. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Should we get set up to do this? Any of your thoughts, concern? All right. Well, it's Kevin's Corner's time.
It's Kevin's Corner. I have because I got some Ravens stuff. Again, I have to lean into the government name always of Locked On Ravens. So we're going to talk about Patrick Queen.
Hold on for a second.
People see my crotch on camera.
Well, I mean, that could be Rip After Dark. Welcome to the show.
That's subscription only. That's subscription only.
We're trying to work on some subscription ideas to really give you guys some exclusive behind the screens.
Also, Dylan Tate with a great inning. And for those who don't know, Jason is at the game right now. That's why we are using him for updates. So shout out Jason for helping us with that. Now the moment we've all been waiting for.
Thank you. So back to Ravens. There was actually a decently substantial report about Patrick Queen earlier today about the Texans and Patrick Queen. Reportedly, there is shared interest between Queen and the Texans on a potential deal there. I mean, that's pretty safe to say. Nothing is set in stone yet, but Patrick Queen probably not coming back to the Ravens. If I had to, put a percentage on it, I'd probably say it's 80-20. He's not coming back, maybe even 90-10. It'd be great if he was. I think he's awesome next to Roquan and think he can flourish on his own. But to me, it feels like the two top landing spots would probably be either Seattle or Houston. Now, the Seahawks made a bunch of moves also, and they released Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, and that maybe opens up. We know Mike McDonald went over there as the head coach.
Yeah.
Geno Stone's looking for a starting opportunity. And obviously he's not going to get that with the Ravens as long as Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton are there. So maybe with those 2 open safety spots, he goes on over, had his best couple of years under McDonald as defensive coordinator, much like Patrick Queen did. Do we think there's a possibility those 2 are a package deal and they go to the same team? Do we think that's possible?
I think that is exactly what happens. I mean, I think especially when Diggs and Jamal Adams were released, that's when I was kind of like, okay. I feel like we always knew that there was going to be a good chance that Patrick Queen ends up following Mike McDonald. Add in Geno Stone, I think it is kind of they're not going to be a package deal, but it does seem like
both guys could end up.
I think both guys are going to end up probably in Seattle. I think it just fits. It just makes too much sense at this point.
Yeah, and Seattle actually also needs 2 new linebackers because Bobby Wagner's a free agent and Jordan Brooks is a free agent. Now there are conversations there that maybe they'll just bring back Jordan Brooks and that'll be that. But I mean, there are a bunch of places where both those guys could play, but Seattle's made the move to get under the cap and free up some space for themselves. And McDonald, obviously, when there's a coach that goes somewhere, McDonald didn't, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't bring anybody coaching wise.
No, he tried to bring Zach Orr, but I believe
that was it. Yeah, because we saw guys kind of go everywhere, but usually when there's a head coach or like coordinator to coaching change like that, where a guy gets a head coaching opportunity, they try to bring in some guys from the organization. And obviously, it's kind of like secondhand with Jim Harbaugh, where he goes and he brings in Jesse Minter was part of the Ravens organization, but he was obviously at Michigan. Yeah. But then he gets the Greg Roman connection and like Mark Trestman, like all these like former Ravens offense. So random. Like I was expecting
once you get in with the Harbaughs, never
I was expecting like Marty Morningweg to come into that, but I don't know. It just feels like there's potential for at least one of those guys, if not both, to go over to Seattle. And it wouldn't shock me. I mean, now there are rumblings about Odell and potential suitors for him. Feels like Kansas City is a really strong option at this point. I feel like this is my hot take. I feel like the Ravens chose between Nelson Aguilar and Odell. I feel like they chose, agreed. And I think they chose Aguilar. 4 receivers right now on the roster. My personal philosophy, if you listen to Locked on Ravens, you know this. I say it literally every episode. I think 6 wide receivers is the perfect sweet spot. I think 5 is a little too low and 7 is a little too many wide receiver wise.
Yeah.
You have 4 on the roster right now, but you had 3 before Aguilar. So I think you bring in an outside veteran and you draft a guy. I don't know when they draft the guy, but I think you have 1 veteran you bring in from the outside and 1 draft prospect you add in. So that gives you 6. And I think that receiver spot, there was 1 for 2 guys. It was 1 between Aguilar and Beckham, and I think they chose Aguilar. So
I'm okay with that. I think especially with, Nelson Aguilar, his connection with Lamar Jackson last year, it almost felt like at times Nelson Aguilar became a safety blanket, which I did not see. Hand up. I did not see.
Both guys are well respected too. So good option to have. And I think they chose Aguilar over Beckham. So are we good? Good to go on the.
Welcome. Houston's in the chat.
Let me ask you guys. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. We can.
Houston.
Oh, no.
We're back.
Houston.
There we are.
Yep.
You say Houston's back in here. Well, hey, Rocco, why don't you chill out for a
second?
second?
I just removed him.
Do we need to? Is it okay? Is there an echo or are we feeling good?
No, you're good.
We're feeling good. Well, everyone, thank you again for tuning in. This is part of the breakdown that everyone wants to hear a little bit about. Know your foe, Bo Bichette, Toronto Blue Jays shortstop. Tremendous player, right? Does a lot of great things. Last year, played 135 games, hit over 300, had 20 home runs. So many good things that we want to talk about. And actually, because the Orioles are going to see Toronto quite a bit, and people have a certain feeling about the Toronto Blue Jays. Don't you love it when this happens? But this is going to start off just to show you how complete of a hitter Bo Bichette is, okay? So you're seeing at the spray chart, courtesy of Baseball Savant here. What I love about this is that you see he loves to use the entire field. Personally, for me, some of the best hitters in all of baseball use the entire field. And Bo Bichette peppered the ball everywhere, and that's why he had success. Now we're going to run through some observations here on some really good swings by Bo about driving the ball to all parts of the field. But then we're going to specify when it comes to when he's faced the Orioles and what can get Bo Bichette in trouble. Shall we begin? Why not? All right. So as we move into this conversation, this is the first opportunity here, okay? And you're going to see, and I want you guys to focus on this. Bo Bichette is a leg kick guy. I was a big leg kick guy. I mean, I would get that thing way up there, almost to a fault. It was a problem. You can ask my teammates. but it's a great way to generate power. And if you are on time, you can do some special things. Bo Bichette's going to be on time. This ball is going to get launched. See ya. And again, why I want to emphasize this is that Bo Bichette, leg kick, hitting the ball to all parts of the field. He's not the biggest guy, but he knows how to use his body, okay? Here's another example. Hunter Green throws some fuzz. Bo Bichette, he's going to get into his leg kick. And guess what? Another opposite field home run. So, again, this is something that Bo Bichette is very, very good at doing. Another example, Mariners. This is actually going to be a pitch right down the middle. Bo's going to hit it right back up the middle or to left center. And this is an absolute bomb. He's a great player. Truly is. All-star caliber player that the Orioles are going to see quite a bit. Now, again, before we move into it, I want you to focus on the leg kick here because leg kick's all timing. And for the thing as a hitter, what's your goal? Trying to be on time with the pitcher. And as we see, the pitcher is getting ready to go forward. Bo's going to start his movement up right here. Going to slow it down right there. And as it's going, Bo is getting his foot down. And I don't like using the term foot down, by the way, because I think it's out of context. But in this context, he's getting ready early. He's putting his body in a position. And even if he's a hair late, his body is feeling good. And he's going to hit this ball to right, even though it's a pitch down the middle. His body's in a very good position, and therefore he's got enough power. Here's another example of this leg kick, okay? Leg kick here. He's going to be early, but guess what? He's in a position to drive the baseball, pitches away, smokes it. Okay, so I think we've emphasized the leg kick portion of this, okay? And now you're going to see him play against the Orioles. These are the good highlights for Bo Bichette because he's a tremendous player. Wells, friend of the show, he's going to give it up right here, ball to right center. Bo stays on the ball. All right? But you know what's interesting there? And I'm going to replay it. Bo then, at times, because of the situations, he didn't leg kick there, okay? And he didn't because it's hard to leg kick more when someone is going out of the stretch, okay? That's what Tyler Wells does because it throws off timing. But Bo Bichette, nonetheless, good piece of hitting. But I'll explain why that's important here in a moment, okay? Feeling good, feeling frisky, double. Bauman, love you, buddy, but this pitch is right down the middle. And Bo doesn't miss it. And there was the leg kick on that one, actually. So he switches it up a little bit depending on it, but he feels better when he can get that leg in the air. All right? Great swing. Kyle Bradish here. Leg kick, line drive, great piece of hitting. 2-0 count. Again, all the good things here. This is where it's going to get a little bit interesting for me, okay? After this, base hit. Sorry, I forgot one more. I wanted to show you this. These are all Orioles pitchers that had struggles. But this is the part we want to get into now. So you saw the leg kick. It's about timing. If your timing's off then, and you are not as comfortable without it, you could be susceptible to being fooled more, being out in front, or your timing being off. In this sequence, when Bo Bichette had some trouble in this past year, it was pitches down in the zone, okay? Meaning he can chase more, and because of his body's going too forward and out of control, you feel like you got to reach. And Bo right here, it's with 2 strikes, but Bo's going to reach here on this nasty knuckle curve splitter. And I don't even know what the hell Mike threw here, but it is gross. And he's going to fool Bo right here. Yikes. Disgusting. You want to talk about, we're going to do a breakdown on Big Mike for a second because that is just gnarly. All right. But there's one of the swinging strikeouts right there. Okay. Here's Tyler Wells. He's going to throw, I believe it's a changeup away. Same thing. Bo is trying to get his timing down. It's an 0-2 count. But he doesn't feel as comfortable. Where is this pitch going to be located? Low, away, down. Emphasizing being down, okay? Here we go. Whammy. Again, good place to miss. Maybe could have been a slider, but it's usually his changeup. Felix Bautista has that fastball splitter. It's a deadly combination as we saw. Same thing. And because Felix is out of the stretch and the timing's going to have to be a little bit sped up, you got to be prepared, and Felix is one of the best in the game, though, by the way. So what's he to throw? Splitter. Yikes. That's what you call it. Rocco was talking about earlier, the thing about, like, hide your kids. Hide your kids when Felix throws that pitch because that thing is terrifying. Dean Kramer, again, look at the location. it's going to end up being right here on the bottom part of the plate away. And for Bo, if we're seeing a weakness of it, he wants to get the ball up over the middle of the plate. A lot of these pitches keeping them down, making him go and get it, and he's having trouble. And once again, no leg kick, okay? No leg kick there. Here's Cano, same thing. When you don't have the leg kick at times, you can find yourself out of rhythm a little bit. Cano gets him off balance. He pops it up. And I believe that Bo does this as a mechanism with 2 strikes or his timing isn't well. You'll get wider and you'll try to take out the movement of hitting or the movement of getting more going, if that makes sense. Or I can rewind the thought. When you have to pick your leg up, you have to be more perfect with your timing getting down. When you're more wide, and that's why guys do toe taps or don't stride, is because then you're just trying to react. But for a guy like Bo, that's a big part of his game, and that's a big part of why he has success. So in this case right here, he's not going to leg kick, and now he's going to try to catch up with a Grayson Rodriguez heater, and he's not going to be able to. And that's right down the middle. That's gas, by the way. But my point, that leg kick for him, for what I've seen, puts Bo Bichette in rhythm. And when Bo Bichette, he does it more times than not, he does it great. And when that leg kick's in rhythm, he's one of the best hitters in all of baseball, and rightfully so. You can say what you want if you're an Orioles fan about the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette's an all-star for a reason. But it seems if we can find a way to stop him if you're an Orioles fan, it's pitching low in the zone, trying to get him off of that leg kick, throw his timing off. Your key as a pitcher is how do you fool the hitter? How do you throw their timing off? Bo Bichette is one of those guys that can. And if the Orioles pitchers can continue to keep the ball low and keep it away, I think they're going to have success. But I'll tell you what, Blue Jays, Orioles, it's going to be a lot of fireworks again. And I'm sure Bo Bichette is going to be right in the middle of it, either breaking Orioles fans' hearts or being shut down by some stellar Orioles pitching. Back to Kevin's Corner.
Yes, another wonderful breakdown, Ryan. You cannot gatekeep me, Zach or Rocco, from enjoying the breakdown. So another great one.
And real quick, we hit over 1,000 people watching
about
concurrent during that breakdown. So
and on X as well.
Yeah, over 1,000 people on X alone.
Thank you for tuning into the show. And up from here, in terms of other stuff going on, I saw that Mitch Trubisky just signed back with the Bills. So that's, I guess it's just like Bills Day or something.
They also just signed Tyler Rapp.
The Bills just signed Taylor Rapp?
Yes, I believe so.
Was he there last year?
Yeah, it was.
Re-signed. Yeah, I don't know. That Von Miller Von Miller, essentially, what happened with Von Miller, that contract, what was it, 6 years, $120 million or something, been an awful deal for Buffalo. He hasn't regained explosiveness since his injury, and he took a pay cut, saves Buffalo about $14 million this year. And how it works is he can actually earn all that money back plus more with the way that this deal is restructured. So essentially, he's betting on himself after he could barely get on the field. And I think Bills fans were calling for him to be inactive for all these games because he essentially was like wasting an active game day roster spot. So I guess for Buffalo, changing of the guard, what I'm hearing from like people who are in tune with Buffalo, the Bills right now, was that they are very confident in their young players, especially in the secondary, which again, you move off of essentially 3 starters, even like 4, depending on what you want to think. Moving off of at least 3 starters in the secondary for a team that's trying to compete and win now, that's a big thing to do, but they're apparently confident in their young guys. So we're going to see what happens with it, but I'm not sure how it's going to play out for them. I'll say that.
I guess none of us do. And we're back now, by the way. Thank you guys for being patient. And Kevin's Corner, he's getting used to it. And we got and Zach's we gotta think of it.
Zach Zoo. We just put animals.
I have the plant. We have the plant right there. How do you right there?
We got some good kids, that's for certain. I appreciate you guys being patient as we continue to get this. We're trying to figure out more and more ways to get you guys content and context as the season goes on. And let us know in the future who you want me to break down. Okay. And this is something that we want to do more and more of, but I like to do the know your foe. I thought it flows, it rhymes, but I like to highlight some really great players and guys that the Orioles are going to have to face over and over again, especially if they're going to continue to build off of what was a tremendous 2023 season. And guys, I cannot believe there were over 1,000 people watching us on
crazy.
Hey, can we get a round of applause on that?
Oh no, he tried to catch me laughing there.
Shout out.
It's the Alvin Kamara jersey. Wow.
Sure. Yeah. Take all the credit for that. Well, wherever
Well, I gave the jersey the credit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, also Alvin, I think he's helped me to some fantasy glory as well.
Yeah.
He's a
Stud.
He's a stud fantasy football player. That is for sure. Especially last year when they weren't playing well, it'd just be like, oh, we're down by 20. All right, just dump it down to Kamara 13 times.
Yeah.
If you're in a full point PPR league, that's always great. I am seeing something in the comments. That Heston Kjerstad has entered the game. I believe he has. With Joe, I know he loves his Razorbacks. But wherever you guys are tuning in from, hit that like and subscribe button or hit that follow button on X, which we are very active on there as well. We're getting Instagram and TikTok and everything. We're starting to get it more flowed in. But listen to us on Spotify, Apple, the audio. But we have more going on in the video. We encourage you to come on YouTube or X to watch us on video. But if you can't, please go on the Spotify, Apple, Amazon, the Ryan Ripken Show. We do this twice a week. This has been a blast. I kind of don't want it to end, Brad.
I know.
I agree
just
with
keep
Polly's
watching the number
bench.
go up.
I like Polly's
Polly-
bench. Good idea, Hewitt.
Yeah,
Good idea, Hewitt.
Polly's bench.
That's a good one.
Man, woo. And I think we
Ooh.
are.
Is it
It's
the
not-
reconciliation with Brad?
It's not wrong. Might be.
It might
Yeah.
be. This
Might be.
This might be the moment right here. Where did things change for their relationship?
Right here.
Right here.
In front of 1,100
Listen,
people.
I just wanted to be recognized. That's all. Just wanted to be acknowledged that I exist. That's all I wanted.
He just wants acknowledgement.
He does. And you know what? I still can't get over that you do look like a scholar. Substitute teacher is one of the
all
options.
I did, I put a polo on and some
The
blue
new-
light glasses, and that's what
But you know what? I think
I'm thinking about I'm just gonna keep rocking it.
But I think you look good. Like you guys rip on me for the black shirt all the time, but you know what? It just becomes a part of who you are.
Yeah.
That might be your look.
It might be.
Kevin, I don't know what your look is.
Yeah,
yet.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Kevin,
I'm still trying to figure it out.
You look like you're
Apparently, leprechaun is my look.
Make
Should
it
I
happen.
just start like getting like I have a ton of so one of my boys, I have several boys who work for UA, so I have a ton of these. They were all given to me, and I got some wild pattern ones. I should just start to get pretty crazy.
Yeah, as a child, I own 70 polo shirts.
Kevin.
I swear
We were talking about polos. Those relevant to the conversation.
Kevin, I
it
don't
was
I don't
relevant to the way you backed up. It was relevant to the conversation.
Kevin, I don't mean this. Maybe it's because Rocco's not here, so it's and we'll get hashtag roast Rocco back going on
Oh, yeah.
social media.
You're making
but
a strong
I
case.
was going
for
to say,
yourself.
we're saying, okay,
You're
unmute your-
muted, Rock.
I unmuted you. No.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Get him off the stage.
Yeah. Put mommy to bed. In this case, put Rocco to bed. That's a Wedding Crashers quote, by the way.
Can't
You're
get
a
rid of
good
me.
kid, Rock.
Can't get rid of
Yes.
me. You can get rid of Joe, but
Oh.
you can't get rid of me.
Apparently, we can't get rid of Joe now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I
We
know.
can't two people that we can't escape. Joe and Cedric Mullins, I
Yeah,
think is
True.
what it's come down
Very
to.
true.
All right, guys. I don't
By
want
the
to
way,
What, go
Cedric
ahead.
Mullins is a folder, just in case anybody was wondering. He folds his toilet paper, just like every normal human being. I just want to put that out because that was my hard hitting question. I just continue to plug myself that way.
Oh,
That's what we're
sugar.
here for.
Oh,
Yeah.
sugar. Rock, any final thoughts, concerns, questions?
I hope just because the past two shows I put Joe in timeout, that Heston Kjerstad, who is currently on deck, hits a home run, and Joe can start his Woo Pig Suey chant, and everyone has a great night.
That'd be great. Oh, and Houston is back. And for those, this is why for everyone that tunes in,
Houston,
We
we
want
missed
you-
you, man. We missed you, man.
this is
We
why
need
we
you
want you
back
to
in the
tune in
chat.
so you guys can see these inside jokes. This is a comment saying that Brad looks like he got his master's degree from Catonsville Community College. Hey, but what's wrong with community college, by the way?
Jokes
here?
on
Little
you. There is
JUCO?
no master's degree in Catonsville Community College.
Did you just look it up?
No, it's a community college,
I was just
dumbass.
sitting there and I
Oh
was like,
my
I
gosh.
saw you going on your computer and I was like, is he looking up the master's program?
We're gonna have to do a little bit of like a tutorial on that. But
Yeah.
hey, JUCO love, man. I went down to Indian River, Go Pios, and Fort Pierce, Florida, and the JUCO love. I did finish up at Arizona State Online. Forks up. It's Forks up, right? At
Mhm.
Arizona State.
Arizona State, yep.
But the JUCO love, man. Hey, what's wrong with it? I love my time there. Hot as hell down in Florida, by the way. When it's not actually spring, beautiful. Want to be down there all the time. Rocco and I didn't want to leave, especially that we didn't get to work on our tan. But summertime, brutal to be down there, especially in this economy. And I tell people, you really test if you love baseball, if you play minor league baseball and you play in Florida during the summertime. Then you're really good at testing.
Is Florida the worst state in the country to play baseball in the summer?
It has to be.
Because, like, I know, well, there's Texas too. So
South Carolina.
All those are indoor.
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Quick story time. We'll get out of here. I sweated the most, I think, in South Carolina for a doubleheader against the Charlestown River Dogs, which was the low A affiliate of the New York Yankees.
Mhm.
We had to wear special uniforms for a specific day down there for one of the games. I'm trying to remember, but they gave us the uniforms to wear, and that those things had no ventilation. First time in my career, I could take my jersey off and I could wring it, puddles and puddles of sweat. I took a cold shower, the coldest it could be, still sweating my bag off. And I did. And then the worst part of it, the first game, it's a 3-hour and 40-minute game. We were in the field for 3 hours and like 10 minutes of it. We got the shit kicked out of us in that first game by the Yankees. Fun time. Actually, DL Hall was on the mound for that game, but not DL's fault in that. I just remember he was trying to go out there. Then he left the game, and we're like, oh, okay, well, we'll find a way. Unfortunately, we did not find a way.
It's like the narrator, Morgan Freeman. They did not find a way.
I feel like Ryan has more stories about getting his ass kicked than actually kicking someone else's ass.
Oh,
Well, it's like
sure
Kevin,
about
who
that?
never was never on the field.
Yeah, I don't have
won.
one
It's
story
hard
about
to
doing that.
Yeah, Kevin's like, if I was there, it was an automatic loss.
Boy, I got a lot of wins and a lot of losses. If we want to have the good triumphs, we can save that for a different time. But everyone's usually, when things go wrong in stories, it usually doesn't mean that you went out there and won the game.
Just a yes or no question, and we can make sure that we address this in a later show. But was there any one of those things that you did to break bad streaks that ended up playing out in your favor? So, like, if you went on a
Hitting streak?
like if you were in a hitting slump, or the team, you did a lot of things for the team as far as like
add me back,
getting yourself out of a slump.
I know what Rip did. Get out of the slump.
Another episode.
I know what Rip did too, but I know what he did. What I don't know is that if any of it actually worked.
If it works, it's not crazy either, and it did work.
Yeah.
We ended up winning 4 of 6. I got on a 5-game hitting streak.
Yeah. So the answer is yes. We'll do that. We'll do that. Is that a Rip
After dark?
or,
That's after dark.
$100 a month.
That's like Rip after dark after dark.
Like X-rated.
Yeah.
It's all in the hips, my man.
That's all.
That is all in the hips.
Jesus.
That is.
All right, guys. I think that does it for this episode. We have a lot of people that want to be part of Rip After Dark. But thank you guys for tuning in to the Ryan Ripken Show. We will be back on Monday unless some news breaks that we will then find a way to get you some more content. But hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. And all of the people that watched on X tonight, appreciate you guys.
1,131 people on X alone.
And in this
Unreal.
economy on a Wednesday night, you kidding me? But hit that follow button. Follow all of us if you can, at Ryan Ripken, at Own the Chaos, at Chaos Striker 34, at Zach Bollinger 18,
Boom, there it is.
at Rocco DeSangro. And I am Ryan Ripken. Appreciate all of you guys. And as always,
Hey.
have a day.
Love
Have
you
a
all.
day, have a night, and have a great weekend.
I don't know why I did that.